All right, it's official. It is that day. It is the day I've been looking forward to for a while. Let's see how many people we can get in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Instantly got some people in here. I'm jazzed, man. It's going to be a big night. Big old night. See my man Mean Josh in the chat. I see Vince is here. Keith, I ain't bringing you in here, you turd. This ain't about you, bitch. Oh, man, I see my boy CJ and his chicky little monster on here. All right, guys. I've been talking about that movie Air all day. Loved it. Wore my special Back to the Future shoes. Yeah, you better give me kissy faces, Keith. Better. Hey! So it's just me for a couple minutes. We're gonna let some more people come and hang out, join up before the great white buffalo of guests. Honestly, this was a guy we've been talking about forever. And he's apparently the coolest fucking dude I've ever talked to. Makes it really easy to do this kind of thing. And I'm sure it'll be pretty great for everybody to check this out. And if before the screen cuts in half, this is Pure White Turd. And we'll get into this. It's the best rock band ever. You know what I mean? We'll talk about it. Keith wants to know what happened to the guy. Everybody does, man. That's a key talking point tonight. Where you been? That's one of the questions. Oh, Josh complimenting my appearance. Josh, get out of here with that. Josh, if you want to put your socials up there, man, for sure. Me and Josh is a pretty legitimate Twitch affiliate. Definitely throw your info up there, dude. And what's cool is something I don't see all the time. People I don't know. This is great. It's incredible. Oh, there's Drew. What's up, man? This is 2 minutes about me before we get to the main event. This is all I want to do is talk to people. That's all I want to do. I got to find a way to just quit my job and talk to people. So if you know how to do that, besides just sit here and do this. And there's our guy. Big boy. Oh, my brother's on too. Man, look at this. Brandon's on. Woo! You're gonna make me blush. So I'm doing this next to a drum set, and I can hear my voice resonating off of a cymbal. So hold on 1 second. We're gonna remove one of these guys. Keith, you should be proud. There we go. All right. Oh man, South Austin Beer Garden in the house. So, South Austin Beer Garden, I've never been, but man, you helped this whole thing come to fruition, so I'm a big fan. Next time I'm in Texas, I'm coming. Hey, there's my wife! What's up, Uggo? This is great, man. We're gonna do a 2-minute countdown. Brandon, sorry, this is all PG-13. Maybe R for language and content, but sorry, man, it's not going to be anything. I'm keeping my shirt on. There will be a wardrobe change, but that's about it. I love seeing people I don't know. This is incredible. Again, this is all I want to do, guys. I want to talk to people. I want to catch up with people. I want to pick their brains. I'm not a professional actor. I'm not a professional streamer. And I love hearing about the stuff. I've done some extras work, but man, they're famous actors, man. We love their movies. I want to know more about it. And Josh is sitting in a Walgreens parking lot yelling at people to join. My man, tell him to get on here. All right. We got a couple seconds here. I'm coming to the garage basement. Yeah, you better come over, Drew. Come hang. Drew's next door. Come on over. Go join Jake upstairs, though. Don't come around me. Don't come in this room. Take the back door. Well, Vince, if you're there, man, try to join. We'll get this thing rolling. I know I have to kind of move this to get a top half kind of thing going once he's on as I break the light. Dominican Republic? What up? That's awesome. Too cool. Now we're in multiple countries. Too cool, man. Too cool. What's this one? Request to join. Not yet. There we go. 9 o'clock on the money. Go time. Make sure this is, I think I'm the top half. There we go. And there's the man. You're looking good, dude.
You're looking good, Chris.
What's up?
Happening?
I can, man. I'm
Can you
jazzed.
feel it?
I'm jazzed. I had to drink my way into feeling.
Yeah.
I had to get rid of the nerves, man. I was nervous all day. I was loving it. I was excited. I was jazzed, man.
Up. I went for a 70-mile bike ride, man.
You said
Not
pedal
bike.
or pedal?
Huh?
That's right.
Motorcycle.
What do you ride?
Triumph.
Nice. Counterculture.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
here it is, man. I called you my great white buffalo. I was like, if I gotta get someone,
yeah.
I want someone that I've personally said, man, that dude's fucking funny, or that movie I just can't get enough of, or whatever. But that's you, bro. And I'm every man.
Well, thank you. You terrified us all the way you got
could
hold of
talk
us.
about anything, first of all, the whole night. So feel free to elaborate. It's on my to-do list for tonight, but people are probably like, well, how the hell? But yeah, that's why I was asking, like, what am I allowed to divulge? You know, but there was a pretty specific way I found you.
Anything. Yeah, man. I work at a friend of mine's bar, and you sent this package that looked like a coffin. And we sat around for hours. Like, I was terrified to go near it. I thought some crazy girl I dated or something. I didn't know what was in that thing, man. And so finally, Ryan Thomas, one of the dudes that owns the spot, he's like, y'all are a bunch of wimps, whatever. He opened it. I hid behind him. He's larger than me. And, yeah, dude, it absolutely freaked me out to see that skateboard.
So, to catch everyone up, because first of all, a lot of people on here, I don't know. These are just followers of either mine or saw the tags for you being on here or whatever. So there's a lot of people checking us out tonight. So I caught wind of where this guy was, and I'm like, I'm going all out. So I'm a grind fan hard. I said,
And the action figure.
So I decided to send this guy a care package to convince him, beg, to come and do this. So I included in it a letter explaining what's going on, an action figure I made. It was a custom mat action. Do you have it? Oh, dude.
Hold up.
Made an action figure for Matt from Grind, included and a deck, full-on legitimate skateboard deck. I had to redraw your board. Apparently, Hookups didn't make that board. That was for the movie. There it is.
Yeah.
The Matt figure. Come on. I'm telling you, and it's one of those bendy figures, so they can chew on it. But I had to redraw that Hookups board, and
I'm not gonna open it.
You know, pre-hardware, I just had the deck. And I printed the vinyl, I laid it on there, and I'm like, listen, what if I give you the action figure, I'll pay for postage back, but I love to have this deck signed. And we did it. And then I found out what hardware was on the board in the movie. So I tried to recreate it as best as possible.
And Dude, that's spectacular. That is Lindsay Felton on the back of that.
Yeah, yeah.
The girl that plays my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What's that?
She's in New York right now.
Okay.
She lives in New York now. Yeah, she's like dipped out of the industry as well. I think she
Yeah,
might be
I
doing
mean,
theater or something.
so as far as I tried laying out my thoughts in some kind of fashion for tonight because I could just bullshit for 5 hours. But what do you want to give people your story? I doubt very much anyone in here doesn't know what's going on.
Well,
But
most people who like talk to me when I leave the house are like, "What the hell happened, bro?" Like they think something, and I don't blame them. I mean, Hollywood's this is Snickers. Hollywood is full of mad stories. Yeah, my dog here.
Big dog guy. So yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, what happened was from 1993, American Werewolf in Paris, to 2009 or so, Firewall, right? That whole 20-something years, I'm living in LA, somewhat in the grind, but not really, I'll explain more of that in a minute. But 2009, my mom passed away. And it was like, after that experience and everything, when I took like a few months just rattling around the United States, when I got back to LA, I just was done. Like, it was like that 20-something years, I had an awesome time, awesome experience, no horror stories, there were annoying parts of it or whatever, but for the most part, I mean, I enjoyed my success. I felt it was successful because it was the lifestyle I wanted to live. But after that, just to see how quick life is, I have like the greatest dad in the world. People like him more than they like me. I have the coolest sister. She lives in Houston. My dad lives close to Austin. And I only saw my family like maybe once or twice a year, for that 20-something years because I was always doing it. And so on one hand, I wanted to be closer to my family and chill. And the other part of it was like seeing how short life is, right? There's an eternity before I'm born. There's an eternity after I'm dead. I'm here for a moment. And it's like, I started getting into this interesting head trip of why am I pretending to be someone in a movie living this life when this is my life? And I mean, and just because maybe I had done that chapter, or whatever, I just, I'm more like into like classic cars and motorcycles and fishing, shooting guns and shit. Like I just kind of went back to LA, started eating sushi again with, everyone around me was kind of like a lawyer of some sort. My only friends were, I left with 4 extraordinarily tight friends. Phil Morris, Dave Keebo, Quentin Rodemeyer, Noel Broner, JP. I could go on. That's more than 4. But I just kind of was like, time for something different, man. And I didn't know what I was going to do, so I went to Joshua Tree for like almost a year. Smoked out, walked around, like would get lost in the desert with my cat Priscilla at the time. Just wandering aimless, man.
I did it for a day. I didn't do it for a year. Yeah. I love
super gorgeous,
hot
right?
rocks, but then
Beautiful.
5 feet away was like snow, like frost. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, high desert. It's a really like interesting place on the planet. It looks like a fantasy. I kind of lost my mind out there for about a year. And then I was in Austin. I didn't even know if I was going to really stay. And it was a very weird story. My friend David Pierce, who I work with now, he owns the bar I work at. Like, I went in this bar with a girl, and it was super cool. It was on 6th Street or whatever, and I'm chilling. And I'm like, this is cool. And I'm talking to Davey, and he recognizes me, from rat race, grind, whatever. So he's talking to me, and I said, man, I could bartend here, you know. And this chick worked there. And he's like, really? He's like, I'd hire you in a second. He's like, do you know how to bartend? I was like, yeah.
Right.
I hadn't done it for like 20 years, but I was like, oh, yeah. So, like, he's like, I'll hire you. I said, okay, cool. And the girl went to the bathroom, and he goes, how tight are you with this chick? And I was like, I don't know. I just met her. And he's like, because you're taking her job. I'm about to fire her. I was like, let's roll, man.
Right.
So, yeah, the next day he hit me up. She hit me up like, that bastard fired me. I was like, well, I work there now. I'll come in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I wound up. And now it's 10 years later, dude.
Fucking right, man. I'm in the same boat. You live once and you can't be unhappy at all. You really can't.
Yeah. 20 years is a long time to do something. And I still write, I still do music, but that passion for pursuing it in that way is completely obliterated. And to be right, I only started the music and writing and stuff again recently. Like, until now, I've truly been just working on my car. You know, I got a 63 car. I'm like,
good.
I've just been chilling, man. Absolutely.
We should all be so lucky to just be chilling.
Yeah.
Rest of us are grinding.
Yeah. And I get to see my dad a lot more often, right?
I got some. It looks like I have some fan members in here right now. Yeah. So I had this idea. Your credits are dope. So you you were all over it. TV and movies, man. I wanted to hear like a sentence or two about each role I'll give you that you've done. So like if I said, what were your impressions of, like, what did you think? Oh, tell me something about ER. I remember being in like 7th grade and we'd watch ER, and then like me and a friend would like call each other on commercials. I'm like, can you believe that? Oh, I gotta wait. And like losing our minds over it. There's nothing like it. Like a hospital drama. And we were kids and we loved it. And I didn't know until recently you did. Like I couldn't remember anything in that show except for getting his hand stomped and getting beat up in the bathroom. But so let's start with that one. What's something you remember, or you can tell me, or whatever, about your time on the episode of ER?
ER was trippy. Well, I did 3 episodes there, and a kind of a slightly common experience in my 20 years there is I kind of messed that up. I kind of messed up ER, but did I have a good time? It was awesome. Kelly Martin, I hadn't thought about this in 20 years, bro. I had done like a couple of movie of the weeks with Kelly Martin. I played like an insane asylum like a crazy kid, all this stuff. So I got hired to do that show, and they had like a much broader, like they were excited that I was doing it. I was gonna do it for far more than I did. I didn't get along with the producer on that show. And I could be a real smart aleck without thought at times, right? And so like he was one of those guys that like to kind of pick on you. He was real short and stuff. And so I was like, hey, this guy's throwing me some heat, and I just threw it right back. And the crew's laughing and this and that. But then I started noticing this guy wasn't talking to me anymore and stuff. I was like, oh. And I got written off. You know, they just kind of like let me fade away. But it was cool working with Kelly Martin again at that time. And George Clooney is the nicest dude. He wouldn't know who the hell I am.
Nice.
He's a nice dude. Like my first day on the set. Well, weird enough, he and I dated the same girl once. A girl named Susan Snyder, who was in the movie Weird Science. She was a lot older than me, but she was really good looking. This is weird. This is all coming back. And she said, hey, my ex-boyfriend, that is so weird. I was at a bar, and she's like, hey, my ex-boyfriend's going to be here. Is that going to be cool? I was like, oh, let's talk, whatever. So up to the table wearing a trench coat comes George Clooney, right? So, like, my first day on, so I'm like, holy shit, it's George Clooney. And then it wasn't long after that I got cast on ER. And I was like, hey, man, remember me? He's like, oh, I meet a lot of people, which fair enough. And when I told him, he goes, oh, hell yeah, I remember you. So we just
Oh my
shot
God,
baskets
this
for
is
a
great.
while. This is like opening odd
That's what
cans of worms.
that's what I want.
All right,
And I
keep going.
understand. I'm everyman. I'm the guy
Let's,
who loves going to the movies every week. I'm the guy like who we're watching a movie and someone's like, "Can you shut up with the tidbits?" I'm like, "Little did you know that when they were filming this." But that's my favorite shit. So I love this part.
yeah.
What about Friends? Your time on Friends?
Oh, that was epic. That was really, really, really fun. And I got that because I was on the show Jesse a few times, if you remember
Oh no
that,
way. Okay.
Christina Applegate show. Yeah, and it was the same
Oh
producers
nice.
and everything as Friends. Oh, and then here's an interesting thing. Well, David Schwimmer really wanted to do my role
I
in
did.
Rat
I think
Race,
I heard you tell
big
that on
time.
the
Like,
WTF, right? I think right. Great.
yeah, yeah. And so that was a really weird situation because he had like sent
Mm,
video to the Jerry DeZucker and stuff, supposedly his stuff I hear, and then wanted to do that role. And I wound up doing Rat Race, and then right before Rat Race even came out, I think it was in that little
okay.
2000, 2001 window, something like that. So he treated me kind of odd, but I'll tell you, everyone on that cast was so sweet, and they were like really cool. Matt
I
LeBlanc
love
is exactly what
seeing
you think
Matt
he is,
Bonk
man.
in any interview because you get to get a grip on his acting chops because you see, well, I'm Dumb Joey, and then you see him in an interview and he's really chill and he's just I'm like, oh, it's complete
Totally
180.
normal, cool dude. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
super nice, man. Super. I mean,
I
those people
can't
were living
imagine.
fat at that point. But you know, I get talked. People talk to me about that episode
How it goes, man.
all the
Especially
freaking
nowadays, everything's
time, man.
accessible. Everything's a click, and they could just go to
Yeah,
Netflix right now, click Friends, they click your episode and watch it. So for
yeah,
us,
it's
boys, man,
very
best
odd.
world,
All these
it's the
play
best time
out,
ever.
man. Still making residuals, baby. And I
I
wonder
can't.
how much must those people be making?
How was
Holy
Matthew Perry? Because he was
moly.
my favorite. Yeah.
Man, I didn't talk to him at all. Just the only time I was around him was, you know, at the beginning of the week, you kind of take a week to shoot an episode. At the beginning of the week,
Right.
you have your
Sure.
round table where you're just reading off the script. And since he and I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
share any scenes, he wasn't there, but almost all the other actors were
Hmm.
watching the scene be shot. And then, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
there's so much sitting around time. There was,
That's
you
super
know, but Matt
cool, man.
LeBlanc was the sweetest. Matthew
Huh.
Perry, I didn't really
Okay. Yeah, I
communicate with at
remember.
all.
Trying,
Aniston was cool. Lisa Kudrow, ultra
and then
cool.
it's still like I mean, I
Yeah.
watched Friends episodes within the past couple weeks. That shit's just timeless. It's forever.
Yeah. And interesting, and interesting, I just inhaled my own saliva. An interesting thing is they don't count reruns anymore when they're
Okay.
telling you what the coolest shows are or the hot shows because reruns are the most watched shows nowadays. More
Yeah.
people watch Friends weekly than any new show out there. And it's like, and they don't count that because they're trying to pump up, you know, the new stuff. Isn't that crazy? That's like, that really
Yeah, and
resonated
it's
with a lot of people,
messed up because
man.
I still watch Friends, I still watch Seinfeld, I still watch Sons of Anarchy, I still watch the Dick Van Dyke Show. I don't know that I'm because I'll go in and watch
Yeah.
whatever everybody's talking about. Here's the new show, you gotta watch it, and then you watch it, you're like, cool. I'm gonna go watch season 4 of Seinfeld. You know,
I'm kind of that way. Like something like Game
yep.
of Thrones, that grabbed me. Certain things grab me. Game of Thrones is 100 years ago now. But like every once in a while I'll get grabbed by something. My girlfriend who's like, you know, younger than me, she will watch much more modern shows and I'll give them a shot. I'm trying to think of one I like. A
Yeah.
lot.
I
I mean like a
mean,
lot. New
New
Girl's
Girl's great.
cute.
Yeah,
New
I'm a big
Girl's
New Girl
funny.
fan. I'm trying to think what's even like more recent, like some of the like the what
The
is it?
100, that Asian show. The
Oh, I think we
100 physical
started. I don't think we're
100.
too deep into it, but it's when it's dubbed. I lose. I'm pulled out quick. It's like when it's
Yeah,
match up, I'm like,
I
I don't know if I can watch
man.
it. Well, Squid Games
Yeah,
was different story altogether. That was awesome.
yeah, that was cool. But you know, like my dog's yakking. Um, the dog is yakking.
I gave her honey.
My girlfriend gave the dog honey to shut it up. It just vomited. It's vomiting. Give me some honey. Let's see what's wrong with it.
I love dogs. Big dog guy.
No.
Yeah, we have a big Dane.
And I got 2 cats running around here.
What
But,
about Love Inc?
You know how. Oh, that was weird. Love Inc. The weirdest thing that happened on Love Inc. was, well, a bunch of weird shit happened on that show.
Yeah.
That was the end of an era. That show. You know what I'm saying? Like now, things are far more inclusive. Then it was like that was the black channel, right? I loved it because I lived in K-Town for years in LA. And so I knew a lot of people who watch that show. But man, one day my sister was pregnant and she lived in New Mexico at the time. And one day they were like, "Hey Vince, go out to the floor, there's somebody here." And I went out and it was so out of context. My little sister was standing there. She came to visit me, you know. I didn't recognize her. I just stared at this person in a bizarre state of shock. I just didn't recognize her for a minute. She's like, "Would you please say something?" She thought security was gonna grab her and drag her ass out of there or something. But yeah, my younger sister Steph came and showed up. Then I cried. But that was a cool show. Went for 22 episodes, right? But the other weird thing is I would get these parts and stuff, you know, and then at night I'd be in goth clubs and stuff. So it was like, I enjoyed, you know, I'm crazy, I'm animated, I'm whatever. I enjoy all this, but it was really like the dichotomy between who I was in Love Inc. and my real life was like night and day. Yeah, and that's like, you know, you're spending like 10 hours, something like that, on the set 5 days a week, making gobs of money, so that was cool. But at that time, I was also shooting Firewall. So there was one day, this is how crazy life was. I went to the set, worked on Love Inc. At lunch, I flew to Vancouver, Canada, was like escorted through customs and all that. I mean, they knew I was coming. Firewall took 1.5 years to shoot, man. We shot 1/8 of a page a day. It was it was a grind. At one point, I called my manager and I was like, "I don't give a rat's dick. I want off this movie. I quit." She's like, "You're quitting a Harrison Ford movie where you're playing a bad guy." And I'm like, "Yes, get me this movie." And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, don't. Oh, it's all cool. But it was like incredibly boring. 1/8 of a page a day. Where I'm shooting Love Inc. at lunch, fly to Vancouver, jump in a van, I'm changing clothes, I'm doing all this. We go out in the woods. It's the scene in Firewall where I throw the dog out of that van, close the van. Excellent, we got it. Go back to the airport, fly back to shoot the show that night. I was like, where the hell am I, man?
No, did they really push you through customs? Like it was all kind of prearranged?
Oh yeah, it was really
awesome. different world back then, probably.
It was different. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. But that was after 9/11 and all that. But those studios got money, man. Anything with money is possible, you know. Yeah. Well, like private jets and stuff, you drive to the tarmac. Plane lands, usually at a secondary airport in the city. And then there's a car right out. You walk down the ramp of the plane and just get in the car. So like, people fly with guns, drugs, everything all the time.
Yeah, right.
If it's private.
What'd you think
Yeah.
about Epic movie?
Oh, that was so fun, man. Yeah. Wolverine. Carmen Electra. Oh my God. That was a very fun, crazy little time, man. That was, yeah, it was really weird. They were like, they called up and they said, we want you in this movie. We don't know. And they had a list of characters.
Right.
And I was like, duh, Wolverine, man. Like, we all could have, you know, quite a few you could have chosen here and there, whatever. And who was the band? Velvet, whatever, Slash's band played. So we got a free concert and shit. I mean, that was a blast. That was like, that was one of those, like, I can't believe I'm this lucky moments. Because it also, I only took like 2 or 3 weeks on that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was out, man. It was a lot of fun seeing a bunch of goobers running around, all these different characters and stuff. And we took it serious to the point where, like,
right,
it's already campy.
Yeah, right.
So let's take it serious. You know what I'm saying? But you know what's, all right. So life is so funny because I do this little thing in Epic movie. I don't even really look like me with the chops and, you know what I mean? I'm jacked, but I mean, you know, no, I'm kidding. But that life is very strange because far after that movie was done, I forget about it. And I don't, the only time I go see anything I've ever done was at the premiere, and I've never seen anything else again. I would have been a better actor had I watched, because I know I'm like too much. But I was in an elevator. This is so weird. I was in an elevator, and there's this dude with this like 10-year-old boy, and the 10-year-old boy's like, Wolverine. And I was like, what? And the guy looks at me, he's like, oh yeah, you played Wolverine. We just went to the movie. I'm like, oh, cool, you know, what's happening? And he's like, that is crazy, blah, blah. We talked. Wound up being Gil Cates Jr. Big Hollywood family. His, you know, his father, his grandfather, they produced the Oscars for 100 years. All this kind of stuff. He's like, what are you doing? And I had just gotten a camera. And I said, oh man, I've just been really just smoking out in my apartment, shooting short films and stuff. He's like, I'd like to see him. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. I said, well, come check it out. And I was doing really crazy stuff. And he goes, that's cool. We exchange information. Later that afternoon, I lay down to take a nap and my doorbell rings. What the hell? Nobody rings my doorbell. I lived in a very private like thing at the time. What's going on? So I go look to the people and there he is. So I open the door, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, you want to make a movie? I said, yeah, what are you doing? He goes, no, what are you doing? He's like, you want to direct a movie? I said,
fuck yeah.
Yeah. What movie? And he goes, well, we'll have to write it. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, but it's got to be quick. And that's how Order of Chaos came about. The movie I directed with Mio Ventimiglia and Mimi Rogers and shit. It was totally bizarre.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Jeez.
So that's the story of Epic Movie.
So I think
it led to
now we go into, I'm going to call them the big three. I'm going to leave the big one you know I love for last. Let's talk Little Dizzle.
Oh, Little Dizzle. That was a chunk of my heart
for sure.
Right there, man. That chunk of my heart. Oh my God. If there's a movie I wish everyone could see, that's definitely one of the top two.
Conception of Little Dizzle. And I'm pretty sure it's free on Crackle right now. So everyone, literally everyone can go and watch this right now for free on Crackle.
Yeah. You know, that had to be the
Hmm.
first time I cared. Honestly, man, you could, you know, perhaps part of my charm and also part of the reason, you know, everybody asks me, why didn't you do more movies? It's like, what are you gonna put me in, man? Like, I don't care to I don't
Right.
care to make a series. I know how to do it. I've done it. You know? I've done serious roles. Truth is, we'll get into this also later, but you know, like the truth is, I never thought of
Okay.
acting as a craft. For whereas I worked with great
Yeah.
actors like Joey Kern and Grind. Um, you know, most of the people took it very serious. You know, but Little Dizzle was the first time where I was like, I'm gonna concentrate. You know, I'm gonna make this character. I'm gonna be
Right.
present and not just kind of wing it and be wacky. You know. And working with Natasha Lyonne, she's quite literally, we've done a couple movies together. One of them's not even out. That was a drama. That broke what I'm talking about now. That put a, it's the movie Hysteria. That put enough of a bad taste in my mouth where I was like, it was a learning experience. You know,
Right.
sometimes you learn through hard knocks, whatever. But Little Dizzle, David Russo directed it. Absolute insane human being. Absolutely a real
Yeah.
crazy person. You know, like so artistic. His feet aren't on the ground, man. He's a
But
weirdo. But yeah, Natasha
right. But
Lyonne, that
someone that's
was my
kind of nuts.
favorite working with her.
That's who you want in the driver's seat.
What's that?
Sometimes, at least, right? You want someone who's kind of nuts, like all vision and.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This guy, I would work with him in a second. He wound up doing a badass, from what I heard, like an IMX film, like a 3D film on the human brain and stuff. You know, and I mean,
Right.
I could see him doing it because he had the
Yeah.
mind. I mean, the effects in that thing was shot on 16 mil, man. Like
I love.
it's
Yeah.
amazing
There's
that
like a quick,
movie. And the
quick shot where
story.
it's just the little blue fish goes from like a brick wall, and then it's like in front of a crowd, and it ends up being like this, what, like 45-second long, like animation top of like real time. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it was amazing, man. Uh, we shot that in Seattle before Seattle was what it is now, thank God. And it was a
Nice.
great time, man. It was a great time. I lived in the Pete's Coffee Lofts. So it's like these ancient, it was some industrial thing, you know, where they did grains or something back in the day. But it was beautiful, old brick on the water. But every moment you just smell coffee roasting. It was heaven, man. But then what sucked is we shot 6 weeks at night. And oh my God, when we were shooting downtown, I stayed downtown. And this is absolutely freaking true what happened, bro. So we're working nights all these weeks, and you know, you kind of go crazy when you work nights. And I get back one night, it's about 6 in the morning, maybe something like this. I remember it was dawn. Open up my hotel room, walk in. A man is standing on the patio, and he looks at me, and then turns around, and he's gone. And the way he looked at me was so like forlorn. I'm completely serious. Like it was like a punch in the stomach. It was a punch in the stomach. Because I've always seen like ghosts and shit for real. Well, I was so tired. All my hairs are sticking up and everything. I went downstairs. I said, I want to switch rooms. And they're like, is everything okay? I said, everything is clean and crystal top tier, right? Switching rooms. Chick looks down at the computer, and I could tell by her vibe. I said,
Yeah, she knew the
what
room,
are
huh?
you thinking right now? She knew the room. because a dude in the 70s launched his punk ass off my patio and committed the big S, bro. And I'm telling you, man, I was like, oh my God, that cat still visits. I was like, and she gave me another room and everything. Absolutely that happened, man. That's really trippy. Really trippy. But yeah, a little sizzle.
How about Rat Race? I just kind of rewatched part of it today, actually.
Yeah. Rat Race
Yeah.
has got legs, man, because people talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Rat Race was popular, dude. I was in Paris, France, and some dude came up to me, and I thought he was talking French, but like a lot of people will come up to me and talk to me like, or whatever. It happens all the time. But this dude was doing it in French. I thought I was trying to understand him because I speak a little bitch, and I was a little bit, and I'm like, parlez-vous anglais, s'il vous plaît? Like, let's bring this to earth, and then I figured it out. Yeah. But that movie was popular, bro. Yeah. And it came out August 29th, 2001, so it was out for a week, and then September 11th happened. So that decimated it, man. Like, you know, nobody was going out to laugh at some goofy Americans trying to get money, you know. But then once it hit cable and stuff, I think that's plus, you know, that movie was used as a babysitter for kids, because now I get all these cats in their 20s who are like, I've seen it 1,000 times. Yeah, but that was one of the greatest times of my life. That took a year to shoot. I was with Seth the entire time, got along with him. He's a super cool dude. We do yoga, smoke out, you know, go ride. Like, they flew us up to Calgary, Canada, like 2 weeks before the movie even started, and gave us a rental car and like a gob of per diem cash, and we were like, get to know each other. So I went on an awesome road trip, really got into air hockey, like extreme air hockey. Did that. One day, man, we were up in our hotel room, and we were so high. This is so funny, man. We were like looking out, and we're like, I'm having the weirdest deja vu. I'm having the weirdest deja vu. We're tripping out, looking out over Calgary, and we're like, I swear to God, I've seen this city. Like, we've been here before. We've been here before. And it turns out that Calgary was Metropolis in the original Superman movies. And they shot that, all the establishing credits from the top there, from our POV. We were like, that's it. Oh my. We don't know each other. Yeah. Rat Race was cool. Amy Smart is an angel. Everybody's like super sweet. Yeah. First time I met John Cleese, I'm like walking along, you know, like through the trailers and stuff, and his trailer door opens up, and he's standing there in his boxers, and he's like, Vincent Vieluf. And I'm like, Vieluf, because everybody messes that up.
Right, that's how I remember.
And he's like, Vieluf, come inside. So I go in his trailer, and he had a big poster boards of all the actors' names, and he was just sitting there making acronyms of everyone's names. Yeah. Like a really trippy guy. Really trippy.
And then when his underwear, he said?
Go ahead. Yeah, he was in his boxers, man. But every time I ran into him, I gotta say, for years after that, I consider him an absolute legend. A legend. Right? I grew up on Monty Python and stuff. Well, every time for years I run into him, Vince, big bear hug, doesn't matter who he's around. Like, he's as sweet and real and everything as you would hope. Because so many people kind of, even if they're nice enough, you kind of go, wow, I thought they were 20 feet tall. You know what I mean? I think his heart is 20 feet wide. You know, like he just,
Great.
exudes love
Yeah,
and like
to be that way.
coolness.
Sure to make it
Yeah,
for everyone else too. So
first time,
I said I'm sure it'd make it a lot
what's that?
better for everyone else. I mean, you know, your story of not really being in love with how people are out there, and you end up being done. You know, if everybody had a little more John Cleese, I'm sure it'd be a different story.
Yeah, yeah. Whoopi Goldberg was ultra cool. Really weird with her, man. Like the first time I met her,
Okay.
you know, she doesn't fly, right? She does not fly. And first time I met her, we're making total small talk, right? Just total as you
Right.
do, because we're about to spend the year with each other, whatever. And she's like, "Who's your favorite artist?" And I said, "Max Ernst." And her jaw just dropped. He's like, Max Ernst is like the father of surrealism, like the father of Dadaism. Salvador Dali was his student, right? She's like, "You did not just say Max Ernst." I said, "What's up?" She goes, "Follow me."
Yeah.
Into her bus. She didn't have a trailer because she doesn't fly. She had a huge charter bus that she bought. $3 million renovation, bro. Marble floors, full-size jet bathtub, king-size bed. Like, this thing was sick. And in it, an original OG 100% Max Ernst painting. I'm like, this shit's on your bus.
Yeah.
On your bus. And from then on, we got along, man. She's another one. She kind of had a crush on my dad.
On your dad?
Lots of women do. But she had a crush on my father. And I ran into her years later. And she talked to me for 20 seconds. She goes, "How's your dad?"
Fine. Right?
She's a dirty thing. Yeah. Yeah, she's cool though, man. She called my mom on her birthday. Yeah. I said, "Oh, it's my mom's birthday." She goes, "Well, call her up." My mom's, "Hello." "Hold on, Mom. Happy birthday." "Who is this?" "Whoopi Goldberg." Long silence. "Oh my God." Yeah.
Well, that leads into the movie I've been waiting to talk about, and there's even a wardrobe change included in this movie. Peep this. Alva Peralta Hawk Jensen.
Check you out, baby.
Dude,
I'm going to go change
Grind
clothes.
was, first of all, how often do people tell you, like, dude, Grind was like my favorite movie ever? Grind, we still watch Grind. Dude, that movie Grind was so good. It has to be all the time, right?
You can ask my girlfriend, who had no clue I ever did a damn thing when we met. When I leave the house. Yep. When I leave the house. Like, Grind, if I go out, I mean it.
Yeah.
It is crazy to me. It's really crazy to me, man. It is. It's a cult movie, right?
Yeah.
It's a cult film. Yeah. Because the people that resonated with it, it's nuts, man. I mean, you know, Rat Race is strange because I used to have a lot of, those were real piercings and stuff that I used to have. And so now it's like when some insanely tatted up, 25-year-old with tongue piercings and shit, that's Rat Race, right? Because they were a little kid when they saw it. But Grind is everybody. Grind is just, and everybody's cool, It's not like, if you saw Brad Pitt, if I saw Brad Pitt, I mean, I'd probably be a little like, whoa, it's freaking Brad Pitt. But Grind had an accessibility about it because the characters we were playing felt very real. That script was a script. It was also a skeleton of a script. And for instance, Firewall, Rat Race, epic movie, American Werewolf in Paris, all these movies take a year to shoot. They're big ass movies. Grind, we shot it for a couple $1 million, I think. And it was shot quick and dirty, right? Like, so we got to make up an incredible amount of dialogue. And that, I was just, you know, that part of your id, right? That part of your psyche that is just like a primal ass little. I mean, you couldn't do that movie today, man. You could not do that movie today. Like,
especially early thousands, man. Early thousands, like late 90s, early thousands, you couldn't do anything like that anymore. But we were also the people watching it, my generation, that, I don't know, nothing was really offensive. You know, we would call each other horrible things. The movies were horrible things, and everybody laughed. And if you didn't like it, you didn't watch
it. 100%. And you know what? That's when people got along, bro. Same with me. Same with me. When I mentioned I got 4 real friends, that means I met these cats. The people I'm talking about, like early ass 90s, right? I'm 100 years old. Early 90s, I met these cats. Still ultra tight with them today. Phil Morris from Clay Pigeons, black dude. Noel, Jewish dude. We used to not give a rat's ass, and never like had fun in life. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, man, they're making people retarded. And I mean that like not the slur, I mean that brain atrophy. But anyway, yeah, man, we all got along. And on Grind,
Oh, yeah.
That, my friend, was a party. That was a party. Bam at that time was like one of the most beautiful dudes on planet Earth. Still is. You know, extraordinarily sweet guy, Bam. Like, what people loved about him was not that he was good looking or cool. He was those things. But first and foremost, that dude was so loving. Right. He had a loving heart, you know? He had a good family, crazy, all of this. But he was a real loving dude, man. And I auditioned for Grind real early on in the process. And same thing happened with Little Dizzle. And they were like, oh, hell yeah, you're going to be in this movie. You know what I'm saying? And I sat in on some of the other auditions and stuff like that. And I mean, that movie was a lot of fun, dude. Like, if Hollywood was always that, and I don't mean just maybe like reckless humor or whatever, but if it was so fly by the seat of your pants, I would never, I would have never bounced on that, you know?
We were, a bunch of buddies were skaters, but there was a lot of us who, we couldn't skate. We could stay on a board, roll around, but like the culture took over, you know, like Janko jeans, or like the hard spiky hair, or like the ball chain, like all that stuff, like invaded pop culture. And we're like, hell yeah. So I mean, you would have thought I was like sponsored skater. Dude, I could barely roll down the street. But I go, bro. So my buddies who are really good, I'm like, I'll film you. That's about all I can do. I'll carry my board around. I'll go down this hill. I won't make it, but I'll go down the hill with you. But the
that's a lot of, and that's still fun. You know, a skateboard is a magic carpet ride, really. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, all these teeth are fake from skateboarding. Like, I really skateboard. And no, not good. Matt Ball was my stunt double in Grind. Super awesome, dude. Super sweet. I have no idea what he's doing. Hello, Matt Ball, if you're listening. But Matt Ball was my stunt double. And yeah, dude, all these teeth are fake. Broke my arm twice. Dude, I was doing a ramp. And when I say ramp, I mean a cement ditch. We used to go and sweep all the crap out of it, right? And I'm coming up on the side, man. And I like go to do something fancy. And I just wham! Hit my thing. And I go, oh my God. You know, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because I just came down. And my friend Scott Matson was like, let me see. And I lifted up my front lip. He's like, dude, your mom's going to kill you, because we were like 16. went to a car window, you know, and I said, let me check this out. And I looked, and all these teeth are snapped at the top, and a little white piece hanging down. And I had to grab it thinking it was a shard of tooth, and it was an exposed nerve, dude. And so instantly, like, the balls of my feet got hot. And the next thing I know is Scott Matson slapping me, waking me up. I fainted. Really weird pain, man. Yeah. But the grind was fun, dude. Mike Vogel, Adam Brody, Joey Kern.
But then you got Dave Foley, Tom Green, Stephen Root.
Yeah. Super cool, man. And Tom Green, I was a huge Tom Green fan. I still am. I think he's so interesting. I remember we watched a documentary about monkeys. It's called Monkey in the Mirror. And it's about when you expose a higher ape like a gorilla, chimpanzee, to a mirror, they will recognize themselves. And it shows, and you got to watch this documentary, man. It's a trip. Because first they make noises and stuff and kind of like go in, you know, in front of the mirror and scope themselves out. Then there's this moment where they go, is that me? And they'll start just like you and I and anyone listening did as a child. They just start exploring themselves. But what's really crazy is these apes would cry and they would get really self-conscious and shy. And you could see it and you could feel it. It was a trip watching this documentary, man. And we were watching this thing and we were crying and stuff. Because I mean, it's a trip. And you know, like when you're a kid, you know that little weird red ball you got on the side of your eyeball and shit? And you would pull your eyelid down, like, what's going on in here, right? Monkeys and shit do the same stuff, man. It's a real trip. And I wonder, maybe a part of human consciousness where, I mean, I believe civilizations have risen and fallen, by the way. You know, I don't think this is like only as old as we're learning it, you know, that is the natural timeline taught in schools or whatever. But if I imagine like Homo erectus or whatever, maybe just, you know, like drinking water and seeing their reflection and stuff really sparked like our first moments of consciousness. Because it's a trip, man.
I swear I've seen a clip of someone putting the mirror in the jungle, and there was not just a monkey, ape, what have you, but there was like other animals kind of like a leopard, cheetah, something come up, and it's looking and it swats at it, and then it just kind of takes off. Smaller game was going up, sniffing at it, and then I don't think they realized what was happening when a gorilla, like a silverback, came up. I wonder if it's the same thing or it was like a same idea. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, the I swear it was a silverback gorilla. When he did a couple things, but then realized it was him, and then he'd like not dance, but like move back and like do some moves, and then go back up to the mirror, and then like kind of come back and do whatever, and go back up. I'm like, what the? You know, this is something they don't even know. They don't have an explanation. They don't know anything. It's like,
yeah, I was doing that in the mirror before this podcast, bro. Yeah, but I mean. I think there's a lot more sentient creatures out there, you know. I just read that octopi are
wasn't just a documentary like last year where it was a guy, an octopus, and it was got like, what was that called? No, I can't remember, but that got crazy reviews. I'm like, it's a guy on an octopus. Who gives a shit? And then I listened to a couple podcasts where they watched it. They're like, it's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. But I never saw it, but I gotta. Right. Yeah, I'm way behind, like we were saying. But
can you imagine if those things are conscious? Because we think we're badass for thumbs, man. They got 8, like, you know.
I love seeing someone put one in a jar and screwed it shut, and it figured it out, and just unscrewed it and got out. I'm like, whoa.
And now I'm thinking that poor thing. Okay, now we know, but at the time it was like, my God, this is right.
Hey, what did you think about? I should say, how much of your character, Matt, in Grind was you versus like what was scripted? because I had a rant about your character probably being the most developed character in that movie.
Yeah. Well, that part of my personality, which there is, right? I just took that aspect of my personality and turned it up to 10. And what you see on that camera, that was Casey LaScala, God bless his sweetheart, the director. He just let me go completely apeshit, man. The first cut of the movie, I was like, because he wanted to keep every weird thing in it. The first cut of the movie was so long in the studio, and everybody's like, dude, you can't this goofy ass movie. This isn't Scorsese, right? I mean, start cutting stuff out. I mean, he just let me go absolutely crazy. And that was what was Grind was after Rat Race. And when that came up, I was offered a movie called Runaway Jury and Grind at the same time. And Runaway Jury had John Cusack, Dustin Hoffman, all these people. But the part was small, whatever, it was whatever. And I told my agent at the time, I said, I'm going to do Grind. And at that point, Grind didn't have Jackass. It didn't have the soundtrack yet. They were like, are you insane? And I'm like, yes, because I'm not going to do another ensemble movie where I'm not credited and it's going to be a forgotten role of like, you know, turning around and handing somebody a piece of paper. And I don't give a rat's. I don't give a fuck if it's Dustin Hoffman or who it is. It's just like, I'd rather go do this thing. And they were like, okay, you know. One of them offered big money, big studio movie. Grind was for scale. I mean, it was the lowest they could pay you in SAG. But I got back end. That was my deal. So I was like, well, if the movie makes any money, I'll make some money, you know. So luckily, DVD and cable and stuff, it equals out in the long run, right? Still getting money.
That was,
you know, works that way.
I remember my rant on Instagram the one day. I was like, this dude is easily the most developed character, whether it was intentional or just so happens. But like, we don't really meet one other set of parents. Like, transformation from like personal hygiene, from like confidence, like, dude, the scope from like jumping in a pool with a cast on to like meeting up with your like discussing being like abandoned by parents in high school, and then like they take care of you one last time. It's almost like this nudge into like adulthood. I was like, this is a jerk off skateboard movie.
I never thought of it like
watch
this.
It 150 times is what happens. You just keep
you're right.
Well, yeah, it was the whole trip like for you. That's why I was curious. Yeah. I'm like, man, I wonder if he was like, get out the way. I have an idea for this. I'm fucking do this, or if it was.
I wish I was.
Hey, you did it,
bro. No,
so fuck it. I mean,
yeah. And Randy Quaid played my dad.
You're like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago.
Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Me and a buddy were. It's convention, you know, like collectible shows. Some celebrities show up. There's Q&A, some artist panels, all this stuff, and they're like, "Here's your 40 people coming, whether they're artists or actors or whatever." So Quaid wasn't even on the list, and so like the second day of 3, there's just a Facebook post. Randy Quaid's here. Just like we couldn't advertise it because we never know if he's gonna come. We all can't like tell him he has to commit. He has to. It's just if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And so, like Saturday morning, he just rolled up with a beard down to his belly button, wearing like a green like fisherman's coat. Like, all right, I'm here. And we were the day before. Like, son of a bitch. Like, dude, just rolled up, and I went bored.
That's great. Because he's still like he disappeared too. You know, he disappeared, man.
No, it was the day after.
Did you meet him? Did you talk to him?
Friday, Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Well, you would have dug it because he's a sweet dude. He's very smart. Very smart. like he's another one, like, you know, he played that guy in National Lampoon, you know, these films, and then you meet him and it's like, whoa. Rowan Atkinson was that way during rap. Like, I thought Rowan Atkinson,
Right.
you know, he's always slapstick, this, that, and the other thing. Oh my God. Like, I hung out with Rowan Atkinson longer than I hung out with Seth Green after Rat Race. Every time Rowan was in town, man, he would hit me up and we'd go eat at Penavino, this Italian restaurant in LA. Really got along. Like, what a beautiful guy, extraordinarily intelligent, man. You know, and he raced
Didn't he have like
his
a
Aston Martins.
is he like an
and stuff.
engineer or something?
Yeah, yeah. And he, like, can you imagine Mr. Bean? He's always in those weird little cars, but then when they yell cut, he goes and gets in an Aston Martin and races. He's a rippy dude.
Oh.
Gorgeous daughter too, man. Thank God looks after his mom, right? After mom. But yeah, he's got a gorgeous daughter and everything. I hit on her.
Sure, he loved it.
And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he was watching.
So next part here, man, I wanted to ask about I'm sure people are like, oh, you got to act in this thing. Oh, I got the script. Oh, I got this thing. Or I had a hunch that you probably get people still coming at you about acting again or doing something. Is that accurate? You think?
It does happen quite a bit, you know. And then I'll even have friends send me. They'll take a picture of a script and it'll say, you know, Joey Sri Lanka, in parentheses, Vince Vieluf type. In the script, you know. But I just haven't been interested, man. Like, I don't even read it. I don't want to hear about it. And what's funny to me, man, is like the last time something remotely interested me was maybe 3 years ago. Somebody wanted me to, like, direct a movie, like wanted to talk to me about directing this movie because they saw this thing I directed, whatever. So I read the script and I was like, I was just bored enough. I started making my list of like things that I would change or questions I had about the script, you know. And then by the time I talked to these cats, it was all the producers and the writer on the phone, you know, we're on some Zoom call or whatever. By the time I was about an hour and a half, 2 hours into these notes of mine, they were like, dude, do you like this movie? Like, and I was just like,
Don't.
You know what? No. I was like, if I do something, I'm going to write it, man. I just died laughing. I was like, I really don't care. Yeah. And then they said, all right, fair enough. And they picked my brain for how to shoot different scenes and stuff. That was interesting, you know, like talking about that. I missed that. Like that I miss. The artistic part of it all I miss. But as I say, show business is 10% show and 90% business. And the more money involved, the more that's true. And if I were to go to that next level at that time, you know, hire the publicist for $2,000 a week, do this, do that. Not spiritually, but certainly physically and emotionally and everything else, that is truly selling your soul. Like you really market yourself as Coca-Cola. And I did that to an extent that I was comfortable with. But you know, here's the other thing, and I mean, if you heard that other podcast, this is the only second thing I've agreed to do in 10 years. I don't even, you know, like, it's really weird. Like, I don't watch my stuff. If you walk around my place, you would never know that I ever had that part of my life. Like, I'd fill you up, I've given it all away. If a fan said they like something or whatever, I could just bring it and give it to them. Just be like, here's this. I've given away all my stuff. But like, what was it? Oh, my acting career was weird in this way. Like, my first and always interest, and this is, my dad's a big influence on me with this. And, is like finding out, like, I mean, I was obsessed. I guess that's my whole thing with the goth culture and all that kind of stuff, things I'm into. Is like, I was always obsessed with the fact that I was going to die. Always like very into like what happens when you die. Like, no, I devoured every ounce of theology I could get my hands on from all over planet Earth. Did the mushrooms, did the this, did the that, you know, and took it very seriously and had lots of insights, had lots of epiphanies and realizations, things like this about my life. And what I'm so appreciative about that chapter in Hollywood in my life is it facilitated the ability to do that. Because every single thing we're talking about right now was a fat ass check. And what I would do with that check is I would then spin straight off. And this is also the reason for the like lack of consistency in my Hollywood career. Is I would spin off, like if I did Rat Race, if you look at it, if you look at my IMDb, I do a big movie every few years, like 3 years. And then in there is decorated, interesting shit. Guest starring, movies of the week, small independent films. Because I would not care about working, not care about acting, not care about anything. I would dive straight into hitting the ethers. Either meditation, you know, that was the long meditation, yoga, and those things were the long lasting ones. But I would, you know, I went a chapter of cannabis, chapter of mushrooms, where I mean, I'm growing the stuff. I'm growing mushrooms, eating them every single day. My dad, like, after 3 months was like, let's have a talk. You're no longer with us, you know? But I had some extraordinary experiences in that. And then, you know, it's like after you have a bad trauma or a big acid trip or something, you have to reintegrate your energy to this plane. You know, you can't just stay off your rocker the whole time. So that would, my call to planet Earth was always running out of money. I would be like, shit, I got to get an acting job, you know? Then I'd come back and you know, and my hair's long, I look whacked out, I'm like too skinny or too fat, and I would get serious, like, holy shit, no, I really need an acting job, I'm really running out of money. You know? Boom, 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 till it got serious, and then I would click into my professional mode and be like, whoa, you know, boom, back to Earth, then I'd get a big movie, and then I'd spin off again. And then what happened in the late 2000s is, like I said, you know, like I was super tight with my mom. She was a great artist, spiritual, talk to her every single day to see how she's doing. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. What? My cat's freaking out. Maybe my mom's here. But yeah, she hit me up and she said, man, I don't like how these doctors are talking to me. I just went for a physical. They told me to come back. Will you come out here? And I went out there to New Mexico. She was living in the same town as my little sister. And sure enough, man, like she had a rare form of cancer that's not caused by smoking, not caused by drinking. Not like that. And it's very invasive. And it's literally like, here's my mom, young as hell. She's only 63. And they're like, he's dead in a year.
Right.
And so I couldn't act. You know, I finished Love Inc., Firewall, this, that, had a stack of cash. And I was like, my butt was in New Mexico as much as I could. as much as I could. There were times I flew back. My little sister called me. My older sister called me, Nikki, and they're like, man, she's back in the ICU. Boom, right back on a plane back to New Mexico, you know. And then it goes, and it was beautiful. I got to know her, I got this. So again, this is Hollywood giving this ability, because if I was working even successfully in anything else, I wouldn't have been able to be afforded like such freedom. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, I mean, me and my little sister were sitting with her when she passed away, and it was the most beautiful thing. As crazy as that is, our first reaction was to smile at each other. It was beautiful, you know? And then, like I said, I tripped around for a few months, go back to LA, boom, everyone's calling me. And then I'm reading the script, you know, and it's like, you know, Goofy whatever. He comes into the room carrying a cake. The door opens, the cake falls out of his hand. It's just like, whoa. And I went to a couple auditions. I mean, only a couple. And they're like, oh, you know, give us that Vince thing, you know. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Just like, I don't know, man. Plus, my mom was so into it. Loved it, right? She could have been, if she had grown up in a different circumstances, and I believe in her next life she will. She grew up in a crazy situation, you know, some real slice of American pie there. I believe in her next life, she'll pursue it. She could have been a famous singer, a famous actress, anything like this, you know. And
she had the star power.
What's that? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's why my dad fell in love with her, because he does too. And it's funny, man, because they were the most powerful people. And then when the kids took off, right, you go through that, went through that period of time, and it was like their relationship just went like this. My dad more on the like esoteric side of things, you know, more like this. And that's what he and I have very much in common, you know. He's like a wizard, right? And so they just grew apart like that, you know. But still a lot of love. My dad had a Native American friend who told him, said, like, you're both magicians, but not together. Like they canceled each other out or something. So really weird. Maybe in the next life they'll be friends. But I have it. My sisters came out of it. I track easily, Chris. I get sidetracked easily, bro. Yeah.
Have you ever done any conventions? Showed up, you know, as yourself, like a peer? No?
Not one. No. And I've been hit up for all of them, man.
So I shouldn't even ask them.
Huh?
All right.
Yeah. No. I mean, I can definitely see a chapter, you know, like now I'm definitely over a couple of things. I definitely have had enough me time of like not caring, you know. I'm interested in opening my own bar restaurant. I'm interested in these things either here in South Austin or even further south. You know, the city's gotten far too California for my liking now. It's grown so much since I've been here, you know. But I'm about to get more serious in that kind of thing. And with writing, I miss writing big time. And I have 2 movies that go together that I gotta do. It's driving me insane because I could shoot them in apartments. I could shoot them out in the woods where my dad lives. And it's like, I gotta do it. It's starting to drive me nuts. And this is only like in the last year or something, you know?
Yeah, man. Well, if you ever change your mind, let me know. I'll be your PA. You come to Pittsburgh and do our big ass con.
I love Philadelphia. I love
the rule
Pittsburgh.
if you live in Pittsburgh, you have to hate Philly. Yeah, we
Is that
we hate.
true? Well, I don't put enough time to hate the other yet. I've always had
Yeah,
fun, and there's
we
such
went.
good
That's
food
all we
up
did. We
there,
went up
man.
just to see it. We saw the Bell. We saw the Rocky Stairs. We ate Geno's. Came home. I'm like, checked it off. I'm like, yep.
You've been there only one time?
Yeah,
Cool,
yeah. It was. We were. I picked a rainy day, so we didn't get to really chill and walk and enjoy everything. We kind of did the three things we wanted to do and got the hell out of there. But it was cool. I don't hate the city. It's more like Flyers versus Penguins. You know, right?
Yeah,
Killers.
I get you. Like North Chicago, South Chicago, White Sox and Cubs.
Yeah,
I lived in
same
both.
shit.
They hate each other. They're different. They're very different. In one city, I mean, they're completely different entities. That place is going to go to war with itself. It's such a pretty city. But you know, like, which Philadelphia, is it Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, where the William Tell building is? Remember that dude shot the apple off the head or something like that with a bow? Yeah, man. I like go on this website a lot, like antique buildings and things like that, because I love antiques. I love architecture and stuff. And I saw that the William Tell building, man, like in my mind, this iconic, amazing thing. There it was on Antique Buildings for Sale for nothing, like 40 grand. I was like, what? And then I Google Maps that thing and go to that street level, dude. I was like, oh, how far the mighty have fallen, bro. Like, you get gingivitis walking down those streets. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't
cool
doubt it. I mean,
there.
I'll talk shit on Philly because of sports, and we liked it. We love Geno's. Next time we'll get, was it Pat's? I think right across from it. I have a buddy from there. It's more fun to be like, oh, you're from Philly, or like, nah, Philly fucking blows, man. Come on, get real. Yeah, go back to Philly. But we went to, when we were there, I had a Penguins hat on, and Eagles like practice camp just let out. So you got like 100 Eagles football fans coming to Geno's as I'm standing in line with like black and gold on. I got a pretty good amount of dirty looks right away to where I just did I don't have to have my hat on right now. I don't care. That's fine. I'll just.
If you know TikTok, you know how close you were to getting your ass beat, man. Those people
and I think Philly, Pittsburgh, I'm on enemy territory. I never hit a Pittsburgh hat so fast. I'm like, I just want to eat a cheesesteak and get the hell out of here, man. I don't want any trouble. Yep, that's what it was. I'm like, boy, I love green and black right now. But hey, I got a lightning round for you if you want. But it seems like you got the gift of gab like me, and there's no such thing as a lightning round. It's just a series of questions. But that's
all right. Hey, do you buy an apple?
Yeah.
All right, give me a second. I gotta have something. I'm starving. Oh, come here, Lestat.
Lestat.
This is Lestat. You can't see it.
What up?
It's too black. He's got hair. Super cool. And then tigers running around here. All right, let's hear some lightning.
I got 3 categories. You can pick which ones you want to do first. Food, movies, or feeling good. What was your favorite childhood actor?
We're going back some years.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase. Yeah, I love Chevy Chase. Fletch movies, the vacation movies, all of it. And then Molly Ringwald. I'm not old.
Yeah.
I was in love with that girl.
16 Candles?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yep.
Breakfast Club. Yeah. All
They
those
are.
movies are still
John
so
Hughes.
good.
I mean, anything John Hughes did is timeless.
Yeah.
What about a favorite
Yeah.
childhood toy?
Favorite
The
childhood
Red
toy, my
Rider?
BB gun. I was wicked with that thing, bro. I was
Yeah.
wicked with that BB gun. Yeah, definitely my BB gun. If that's a toy, if it's not, a BC Rich
Yo.
Warlock.
All right. Talking.
Yeah, which I still rock, man. That's what I do my sound. Like I've done soundtracks and stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see that on IMDb.
True.
All the music I record, I played the same guitar for 100 years.
Yep.
BC Rich.
Nice.
Let me show it to you.
Nice.
I mean, look at it.
Oh, you did?
And I cut the horns off of it. Yeah. It's the sickest guitar in the history of the world right there.
I'm on the other
All right,
end of the scale. I'm a Fender man. Yeah. The old, bright, traditional.
I love all guitars, all
Nice.
motorcycles, all cars.
Yeah, it's one of my
Fender,
favorites.
man. There you go.
I love the offsets. So like the Jaguar, the Mustang, the kind of off, just little off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jaguar
My Mustang is probably my favorite. My wife got it from me years ago. Cool part was she bought it from Guitar Center. She found it on their website, and they shipped it in from LA. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, and it was way customized. I'm like, well, who played it? And I'll never know. It's kind of this cool, mysterious past, like, who played it before me? I'll never know.
Right, man. That's what I miss about LA. My friend Dave Kibo there. That dude taught me a lot. He taught me how to edit, taught me a million things. I still owe him money because we had a pot farm and it failed miserably.
Yeah.
Why'd you bring him up? No, I'm kidding.
She's watching you.
Is it?
My girlfriend just said he's watching right now. That's
Is that him?
weird.
So what up, dog?
Oh. So yeah, man, me and that cat would get together and we would absolutely jam for hours on end, man.
Yeah.
And God, do I miss that. Absolutely, man.
Here, you'll like this then. Let's see if I can pull this off. If I can take the phone out of here, you'll enjoy the space that I'm doing this in then. Drums, guitars. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Our little space.
I got my own little cubby, my artistic
Got it.
office.
Got it, man. You got to. Get the lead out.
Yeah.
What was your perfect Saturday night as a kid?
Oh, we'd get in I had a little mini truck that my dad pimped out for me, man. Absolutely pimped. I wish I had this truck. Oh my God, I loved it. One of those little 80s trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Total beach goer. And I grew up in a town outside of Corpus Christi called Portland, Texas. And what we would do on the weekends is we would put in our cassette tapes and go to the beach and sit in the back of that truck and flirt with girls. That's what we did. So beautiful, man.
I got to do LA a little bit. We traveled around the country for a while, and we hit Ventura, California for a while. It was incredible. City guy. I lived in New York City growing up, and then here in Pittsburgh, and to hit Ventura, and even LA, and then to hit Ventura, like I wasn't chill enough. I was just always, what are we doing next? What are we doing that? And people just, dude, I'm just gonna go sit by the beach. I'm like, okay, we're gonna sit there, and what are we doing? I need to bring anything? They're like, we're gonna sit there. It's the fucking, like, I could last about 5 minutes, I think, until I get up and try to go do something else. But yeah, I like moving a lot. I mean, I gotta be moving. I like doing something all the time. It's just, I think that's just me deep down. If I can't like sit around and put a movie on and lay there and watch it. I love having a movie on in the background and doing something else.
Yeah, I do that as well. Like a lot of times I'll just be looking for car parts or
Yeah.
looking at antique cars and stuff. So like something about the beach, man. Like the minute I get there and I see like an endless horizon and all that water, like the ocean is like the lung, right? And it's just like, it does something to me. I'm also a water sign, so like for whatever that, it's kind of the basics, but I mean like, it chills me out.
Up through Topanga. When we were in LA, we go up through Topanga Canyon, come down to the one. That was like, here, spread my ashes. Right at the edge of Malibu, like where it comes down to the one. I'm like, that view from the top that's nothing I've ever had. And I got to see it as an adult, so less than 10 years ago was the first time I saw Topanga. So, and I had my little Honda, and I'd be just driving my bike through there, man, and hit like that crest at the top, and you see that view. It's like, it was hard to understand. We were so high up when you couldn't see anything. It was just straight ocean.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous, man. Special place. The West
I just
Coast,
feel like
man.
it's on fire right now. It's just like feels like they're on fire.
Something, or it's
Yeah.
covered in human urine. Yeah, man. Oh my God. When I left LA, man, I lived in the coolest spot. Charlie Chaplin in the late 1800s. All of Hollywood, that part of it was orange groves, right? And the studios were where they were. And there was none of the stuff. It's so built up now, it's insanity. But he built for the actors cottages for when they were working on his films for them to stay. And they were like these Keebler elf looking cottages for real. They were totally bizarre, like one bedroom, one bath, late 1800s, right? And everything was off kilter, I wish I had more and more pictures of it because it was just so special. Well, Patrick Dempsey lived in mine before I lived in it. They were hard to get in there. And yeah, you remember a famous story about a stalker in love with this girl and he followed her there and then shot her at her door? Can't believe we're taking such a weird ass trip here, but sidetrack. But yeah, that happened in these little cottages.
Jeez.
It was full of insane people, man. It was like the Shire from The Hobbit, Dave just said. I see it popped up. It was like the Shire from The Hobbit. But I lived there spending tons of money. Every time you left, dude, God bless them, whatever, I won't get into it, but just so many homeless and stuff. And it's like, man, it's like that city started freaking me out to an extent.
Pushing $500 million? I think someone wrote, someone was talking about it, like 500,000 homeless.
And that, and it's not a joke. It's like the pharmaceutical world or whatever. There's such an industry of people working to help the homeless. Yeah. You can't fix it, or there's all these people will be unemployed. So it's just like this. But the beauty is there.
I loved it. I loved being there. I knew that I wasn't going to stay there, and maybe that helped. But we went for her job, and I oil, man.
Yeah.
Just near the beach, changed oil for nothing. I didn't save one dime, but it was like a year just fucking off doing. We went to every concert we could, Universal, Disney, watched the Penguins beat the shit out of the Kings. Like we did everything we could. We're like, all right, we did Cali. We're like, we're out. We did Ventura a couple months, then we went home, back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is the weird stuff you'd wind up doing. Like when I was living in that spot, one night me and Dave Kibo were like, let's just go walk around. It was right below Hollywood Boulevard. It was in between Hollywood Boulevard and like Fountain, I guess. But anyway, Jimmy Kimmel Live shot right there. And so as we're walking, we were like just stopped and watched Incubus play for the opening thing of his show and stuff. We saw George, who was it? It was Scotty from the original Star Trek. Get his like handprint and star on Hollywood Boulevard. And it was like, man, I mean, you're living that life. And not like living it like I live in Bel Air or Beverly Hills, you know what I'm saying? But you're making a very good living in Hollywood and all this amazing stuff that the rest of the planet is reading about, right? You're experiencing that every day. Like we were like, what's this crowd? And then we talk to people and they're like, oh, Scotty from Star Trek's getting a star. And we're like, oh, that's cool, right? And we're standing there. But then when the actors came out, we were 9 years old. We're like, oh my God, you know, like, Sulu, oh, hurrah. Like, we were freaking out, dude. It was so fun.
That's why I called this Instagram what I did. Like, I'm a celebrity fanboy. So I can talk, but then I'll see, like, we met Adam West. And I was just going, you know, like, I couldn't even talk to the guy. You know, so, like, there is something to that where it's just, it's overwhelming sometimes. It doesn't matter what your age is, you know. I'm talking to Matt from Grind right now. Like, what the fuck's going on? I don't even know what planet I'm on right now.
And the impact things can have, because all kinds of crazy things have happened to me over the years, and like ones that really stick out, you don't think it at the time, you know. I think I've done in my head and like the way I carry myself most of the time, I think, oh, I did a bunch of silly movies, you know. Like I don't think much deeper than that a lot of the time, but then weird things will happen, and on both sides of the pendulum, it's like one time, you know, some people came up to me and were like, oh my God, can we take a picture with you? Our first date, I took her to go see American Werewolf in Paris, and we're married now. We have 2 kids. And, you know, to them, they're looking at me like, holy shit, right? And then one time, and then on the other end of that, like one time I went to a bonfire, right? And I'm just out somewhere partying, drinking, whatever, you know, chilling. And this dude is staring at me, absolutely staring at me. I'm like, what is going on? And I could tell, man, and it went hours. And I just would keep glancing at the cat. And later in that night, we were kind of close to each other. And he comes up to me and he's like, I got to talk to you. And he was shaking. He was shaking. And he said, he goes, I just have to tell you, my son died of leukemia. And the last like 4 months of his life, he couldn't do anything at all. And all he wanted to do was watch Rat Race. His favorite character.
Yeah, right.
And the dude starts crying. And he's like,
right.
You know, you gave us that. Like, oh man. Like, you know, so that does translate to like being nice to a 7-Eleven clerk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or not honking. Because my temper can be crazy. I can party too much and do things I regret. All kinds of stuff. But it's like those kind of things, man, they really drill home. Like, you never know what moment or what thing you do will butterfly effect for positivity or something. You know?
For sure, man. On a lighter note.
And I told him, fuck off, dude. I'm hanging with my friends.
Marshmallows, douche.
Yeah.
By night.
Just kidding.
All right. We're gonna get into movies. So
that was for the lightning.
I was saying, like, I don't think either of us were very lightning-y.
All right. Give me 2 and I'll
favorite Christmas movie.
Oh, Christmas Story, 100%. National Lampoon's Vacation or National Lampoon's Christmas, when it's ass hot outside, I jack my air down real low, turn off all the lights, and I watch that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that movie. Next question.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek, because I loved all of them except
Right.
Enterprise and that new stuff. I liked it all the way through Deep Space Nine. And I liked the first two Star Wars so much, man. So much, dude. Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, so good. But Star Trek, I live it. I live it. If I could, like we were talking, life being too short, man. I'm born in the wrong time. I should have been born long ago, or I should have been born a long time from now, man.
That's funny.
Circle, who knows, you know, what's going on. But I got a Star Trek.
Do you have a
Keep going.
favorite movie or a couple movies that is just, they're the best, or even a genre? Or
Yeah. The Shining. Movie The Shining. There's part of me, what? Oh, Groundhog Day. That's religion. Groundhog. I absolutely love Groundhog Day. But The Shining, I feel like I'm not going to be satisfied till I write and direct a movie as good as The Shining. Like, to me, that's it. To me, that's the pinnacle, man.
Yeah, that movie's incredible. Do you like all of Kubrick's stuff, pretty much?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Including the Moonlight.
Oh, yeah, right. I remember, that's
Yeah.
a weird, I remember being in, this is like 7th or 8th grade. So for me, that's what, like 95. And we had a textbook, history book. And they showed a picture in whatever chapter, and it was, here's us on the moon. And one of the crosshairs, like in the center of the picture, was like behind a guy.
Ah.
And even at like 13, I was going like, that doesn't make sense. Didn't know shit my whole life. And then you grow up and you're like, wait a minute, there's a lot of compelling arguments here.
Yeah. Man, I don't know, bro. Like, I cannot definitively say, but my gut is like, I don't think it happened, man. I don't. Then there's another part of me that, like, you know, in Hollywood, I had access to a lot of people, and a lot of experiences. And there was a dude I met that worked at Skunk Works. He had retired, and he now was, Skunk Works is a big military, they do all the background stuff for military, like R&D for weapons and stuff like this. And I really got to know this cat. He was an old man working on the set, and he would hand you your gun, for instance, you know, make sure it wasn't loaded and stuff. You know, Alec Baldwin should have called him, type of thing. So, like, no, that's terrible. I was being an asshole. But I really got to know this cat, and he was shy and didn't really talk to people and stuff. And I got talking to him, got to know him, you know, and like he was telling me things that there's a part of me that is like, okay, 1960s, man, to the moon. We've lost the technology. We lost the original film that was shot there. Nixon talked to them live on the moon, all this kind of stuff. I've read the science. I'm smart in some ways. I'm not smart in others. So if there's a physics person right now thinking this guy is stupid, maybe I am, but it's, you know, who cares? But so there's a part of me that's like, man, that didn't happen then. But then talking to this guy now and talking to me about things like propulsion, talking to me things like, you know, a lot of these UFOs and stuff that are spotted now are our military. and knowing how nefarious this
Yeah.
government is, and I mean all governments, right? Because if I'm like living parasitically, like if I'm living off of you, I want to convince you that I have your best interest at heart, but I want to amass more things. You know what I'm saying? I want to amass more money. You know, so I mean, government itself is always going to be
Right.
parasitic, right? So when getting to know this dude and talking about some of the technology he worked on, and the trillions of dollars that have disappeared, right? Like, we all know the Rumsfeld speech the day before 9/11, where trillions of dollars were missing from the Pentagon. Like, they come out and admit it because it was an audit. And they admit trillions of dollars. And they admit these things. It's like, I believe we could have bases on Mars. I believe we could have bases on the moon. There's no way, as paranoid and freakish as our federal government is, have an orbiting satellite, the moon, that is always facing us in one direction, and you were able to go there, your first thought is not to play golf. Your first thought is to put bombs on it, aiming there. Right? That's their first thought. It has to be. So there's no way we were up there. And then we quit going and this and that. I don't believe it. I think maybe it went underground and on so long that the military industrial complex looks at us like cattle or ants because their reality, you know, and this is stuff presidents don't get to know and that. Not saying I know it. I'm just saying I've read enough to where these pieces make a lot of sense as a possibility to me. Yeah. Because there's no way we were hanging out there and then we weren't. There's no way. There's helium-3 up there. There's all kinds of untouched elements up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's water there. There's ice in the caverns. All this shit. And we went, rode around on the dune buggy, and we're like,
all done.
That's it. There's nothing to see here. That's what NASA tells us now. It's like, no, didn't happen, man. So, have you ever read any of those things about there being two branches of like NASA and stuff like that? It's interesting, man. Very interesting.
I am very okay with going, I don't know what the hell the truth is. I'll probably never know. But I love, like, counterpoint.
Yeah, nowadays, man, there is no absolutes, right? Let me say something about something. You go, what about this? It's like, all right, you got a point.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. And that's also a sign of wisdom. That's very Taoist, right?
Oh,
like, the older I get, the less I know. It's very, like, so maybe I do believe, like, the Earth is going through very normal stages. Obviously there was a flood, there was an ice age, those things, right? They're written in every single history everywhere, right? Sumerians, you know, every religion has their own story about it. Well, like, if you look at the chakra system, you know, like, or a spectrum in a prism, if you look at the chakras, right, the first chakra is about survival, fear, you know, fight or flight, life and death. Second chakra is about balance, right? It's about sex, male, female. It's about right, wrong, day, night. The third, and these are energy, you know, these are just nothing more than levels of density of energy. And then the third chakra, and this is also corresponds directly to a prism, you know, like a light prism, which makes the rainbow. Those different colors are different frequencies of light from dense to light. Then you go up to yellow, that's about power, self, it's about will, it's about these things. The fourth chakra, like your heart, it's green. After yellow is green, that's about love. get blue, you know, communication. Then you get insight in your brain. And then you get, boom, like your higher self. Well, if you look at humans like after the last ice age, I believe there was a civilization very advanced before that ice age. And I think these pyramids in South America, China, Egypt, and other places, you know, like Bosnia, you know, Southern Europe and stuff, I believe those are remnants left over from that age, some of it. Well, if you look at those lights of density of energy, after the first ice age, we were pretty much back to hunters and gatherers and stuff, right? Because the human population had gone down so much. Well, that's your first chakra. Then we went through a period of all the religions, so that lasts for a few thousand years. Then you have all the religions around the planet that are still fighting and jerking each other off, right? And we have to deal with it, normal humans. All these religions came up. So there's your second chakra. There's right and wrong. Science is born. Why is there day and why is there night, right? You have all these things. So you've gone from red to orange. Then you went to yellow, which is about power. We're still in that one. We're still in that one. So you can see chronologically, just through anthropology, we've definitely gone through these stages as chapters in a book. And a lot of people are getting very sick of power. And you know, and as misguided, because every one of these movements quickly go into power, you know, whether it's BLM or whatever, it's like we're all trying to say, let's love each other more, let's be more inclusive, let's do this. But just like human nature and just like the stage we're in, we're starting to talk about those things because 300 years ago, who gave a rat's ass? Because we were just coming out of this right and wrong, right? So it's like I'll kill you if you don't believe what I'm saying, type of thing. So we're in that now, right? About power and this kind of thing. But these little glimpses of love are happening everywhere. And I don't mean some hippy-dippy bullshit aspect of love by any means. I mean, you know, love also is very hardcore. You have to discipline a child, for instance, that you love more than yourself, you know? Or me and my girlfriend might disagree and like drive each other nuts. All these kind of things, but there's love there. So I'm not talking like some utopian thing. I'm just saying like, this is the longest lightning round lives. That's all I'm saying, man. So next, you know, and then communication is after love, right? And I mean, I'm just going up by like energy clusters that come off our spine. Okay. That's what a chakra is, right? So like if you ever hear of Kirlian photography? It's like you've seen it. You know how they'll do a handprint or a leaf?
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
You'll see the rainbow around it. That photography? Well, that photography is done on a metal plate. And Kirlian photography was really big in the 60s or 50s whenever it was first discovered. But I have a friend, Quentin Rodemeyer, who is the highest human I've ever met in my life. That's a crazy story. Like he started communicating through my dreams and stuff and would know the next day. Like he taught me a lot about meditation and really, really interesting dude, man. Oh, that dude's a movie. That dude's life is a movie. But he was telling me in the 70s and stuff that he had been and witnessed, they would do Kirlian photography, but on scales of a room and film people passing away. And sure enough, and I've consciously come out of my body, so I know for a fact that at least that aspect of things are true. But he told me, like, and so there's an aspect of the government who knows all these things. And don't you think that shit should be taught in school? That's incredibly interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm just,
so
I don't think about much of this stuff at all, man. This is pretty interesting. No, I'm being enlightened, man. I don't, like I said, I like talking to people. I don't know it all. I love hearing this stuff.
I don't
From
know why I'm
Star
talking
Trek
about.
or Star Wars?
Oh shit,
Star Trek. Got it.
Star Trek.
How about a food category? Oreos versus Chips Ahoy. Oh, did I lose you? Oh, there you're back. You're back.
Oreos. You're asking these deep ass questions. I gotta think about this.
Nice.
Oreos. I just
Burgers or
nice Oreo.
dogs?
You simply can't
Ah.
separate the two. I'll eat
You
both
know,
at once.
you're not the first person to say that. The exact same phrasing, too. That's funny. Oh, shit. Oh, I can't remember his
Yeah?
name. Dude from Road Trip, the skinny guy with the curly hair. No, the
Meyer. Oh.
I just met him. I can't remember his name. But, yeah, it was just a couple weeks ago. We were at that convention, and, yeah, he said the same thing. I was cracking up. How do you... What's that?
Well, what's yours? What's yours? What is your
it's
answer?
it's burgers. Burgers are the first choice, but we had hot dogs tonight, and I'm like, it's.
Yeah. And every once in a while, though,
Oh, yeah.
you have to have a hot dog.
Going to
Have to.
Chicago, we
Yeah.
had dogs, and now there's like a Chicago food truck in Pittsburgh, and all I get from them is the dogs. It's just like 3 dogs and out. Just
Yeah,
steaks. I don't need the fries.
right.
Just the Chicago dogs are so good.
Yeah, Pink's hot dogs in LA.
Oh
I
yeah,
lived in Chicago for 5 years, from 18 to like 20 something. Not 5 years, maybe 4. But yeah, I
we
love
loved
the
it.
food there. Oh
We've
my
gone like
God.
3 or 4 times, even
Mm.
when we took our kids, because it's like it's a beach. We went in the summertime. It was great. Like city and beach. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't beat it. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, man, that's all I wrote down. Um,
I
what
consider
is it?
bratwurst also a hot dog in the world.
What's that?
I consider bratwurst like in the
I'm a
hot
Polak,
dog
man.
world
We
as
can
well.
talk sausage all day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I live here, and this is all like old German towns around here. Fredericksburg, New Braunfels. So, like, yeah, that food
Yeah.
is right up my alley.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm.
This was awesome, man. I had to show this off. I am no actor by any means, but have you watched Mayor of Kingstown? We were talking about new TV, the Jeremy Renner stuff.
No,
Ready?
no. You in it? Yeah.
That little reflection of a head. That's your boy.
All right.
I always wanted to be. I've never wanted to be an actor, but I love being on set. It's so much fun. So it was like,
How'd that turn?
what's that?
How did you get involved in that?
My buddy's
How'd
like
that come
full-time
about?
actor, like full-time extra, to where that's just his 9 to 5 pretty much. And anytime there's something where I can be typecast, inmate, biker, gang member, tattoo artist, anything like that that looks like this, he's, hey, they're looking for a guy like you.
Yeah.
Just put your name and I'll forward you the email. So he's like, hey, they need prisoners, man. I'm like, I'm your prisoner right here. And it was a couple times. And I just
And
got
you
into American Rust, the one with Jeff Daniels. Same thing. They needed like tattooed guys and girls for a dive bar scene. I'm like, that's me. And the coolest part was where they shot it. I actually played when I was touring around when I was younger and shit. Like, you need to be at this club watching a band. I'm like, motherfucker, I played this bar 10 years ago. All you young kids don't even know what the hell this bar used to be, but it was awesome.
you still
Well,
play out
I'm always
music and
jamming.
stuff like
I've been
that?
in projects, some cover bands here and there, always recording something. The room I'm in, we're trying to do something again. I don't think I'll ever stop. It's just,
What kind
we used to
Music.
play, I traveled around in a ska band for a while, like a big horn section. Now it's metal. Yeah.
of? Mm-hmm.
Heavier the better.
Right on. We saw
Oh, yeah.
Cradle of Filth. Remember that band? Dude, we just saw them, 2 weeks ago or something? like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Dude comes out on stage with his mic stand is a skeleton with like severed heads on the bottom and shit. It's like, man, that's me in my 60s right there.
We're going to see, what was the one we just saw, or just released was Metalocalypse and Baby Metal. You ever hear those?
Huh.
It's coming
I'd
out.
go.
We did just release the dates. I think it's at the end of summer, but that was probably the most I was excited for a show. Like those two bands together, man, it's gonna be incredible. Well, I want to end this with, man, the day you change your mind on conventions, man. That's what like my entire page is going and meeting people and talking to the guests they bring, but also talking to people like me walking around or whatever. But man, I think people would freak out if you made an appearance. I'll leave it at that. I'm sure you're gonna have people going like, you should do this, you should do that. But if you ever change your mind, let your boy know, man, for sure.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you for hitting me up, man. It's been really good to know
sure,
you
man.
and stuff, dude. You're cool.
If you ever come up to the Rust Belt, man, the East Coast over here, man, let me know.
I'll hit you
I'll show you
up for sure.
the cool parts of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, me and my lady Sydney, man, we've been first we got a map of Texas, and we're like every chance we get, you know, because I work like Monday, Tuesday, that's it. So like we're like all about these little road trips and stuff, man.
Oh, that'd be dope.
So
yeah, man. You too. Cool, man. Well, this has been great. Thanks for saying yes, man. And thanks for sending the board back. It definitely no.
It took 6 months, bro. The craziest shit ever was happening during that time. We were moving. I mean, it was just insanity, dude. But it doesn't life always wind up insane? Don't
never
hands,
time for anything.
bro.
You just gotta do it.
With it.
And
Just gotta do it.
I think this is the third or fourth time my buddy's inviting you to our golf trip in June in Pennsylvania. So I gotta ask, hey, you want to come play golf with us in June? All right.
Shoot me a text, dude. I go for the ball.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, and thanks for everybody coming and hanging out with me and Vince tonight. Chick too, man. She's helped facilitate everything. You know, that was awesome.
Yeah. She taught me how to use Instagram, bro. And
you don't have it right. Stuff, I think that sounds good to me.
Madness always ensues. Every time I dip my toe in like the social media pool, stalkers. Oh my God, man. I had this one stalker for years, dude. She tracked me down. My nephew was working at a vape shop in Corpus. Wait, you're trying to get off of here. Anyway, one day he goes to work, bro, in Corpus Christi, Texas, right? I'm living in LA at this point. This lady's standing there and she's like staring at him, and then she goes up to him and she goes, I know, and hands him a piece of paper. And it's this long ass note about how I've been communicating with her, all this kind of stuff. So of course, this is my nephew, CJ, super cool dude, Colby. So like my sister hits me up. Who is this chick? What the name of God is going on? I'm like, man, I don't even know. And supposedly she was hanging out at this shop and stuff. And through social media and stuff, my sister hit up members of her family or something. This is foggy story. But like, she had been committed, all this kind of stuff, and had been like, thinking I was communicating with her through movies, dreams, and you know, on some high ether level. I don't know. But she's not very connected here. She's got some serious issues, right? But anyway, she found that out from my nephew posted maybe a picture of us during the holidays or some shit on Facebook, and like weaseled her way in there. We don't even have the same last name. I'm like, oh my God, you know.
Well,
shit gets weird
too.
Like, Yeah. 90% of it's cool, but 2% of it's odd. I love you. I love everybody watching. All of that business. Thank you very much for watching the movies
Yeah,
and
man.
all of that. You're
Well,
awesome.
if you're ever bored, we'll
Yep.
do another one. Go,
All
man.
right.
Appreciate
Hit me up. You are the
Thanks, everybody.
best. Thank you, sir.
See you
Love
next
you
one.
guys. Bye.